The rain had been falling since dawn, tapping against the clinic windows like a restless heartbeat. Doctor. Elena Markova barely noticed it anymore. She had grown used to long, quiet evenings in her small dental practice tucked between a bakery and a flower shop. Most people avoided appointments this late. The world preferred daylight for its discomforts. But that evening felt different. Elena was reviewing files when the clinic door opened with a soft chime. She didn't look up at first, until she heard the sound of hesitant footsteps, the kind made by someone debating whether they should turn around and flee. "Hello," Elena called gently. A young woman stepped forward, damp from the rain, her hair clinging to her cheeks in dark waves. She wore no makeup, no jewelry, just exhaustion. Her clothes were simple, but something about her carried a quiet dignity, as if she had fought a battle no one else could see. "I'm sorry," the woman said, her voice trembling. "I didn't have an appointment. I needed help." Elena stood, instantly sensing that this was not a typical emergency. Tooth pain was familiar, sharp, predictable. But the pain in this woman's eyes was something far more complicated. "It's all right," Elena assured her with a warm smile. "Come in. You're safe here." The woman exhaled shakily, as if those words alone loosened something heavy inside her chest. She stepped closer, and for a moment Elena felt the world still. There was a softness to her presence, fragile yet brave, like a candle flickering in a storm. "I'm Maya," she whispered, unable to meet Elena's eyes. Elena nodded. "I'm Drive, Markova. Tell me what's hurting." Maya touched her cheek as if remembering the excuse she had prepared. "My tooth. I think something's wrong." But the way she said it made Elena wonder if that was the whole truth. "Let's take a look," Elena said, guiding her toward the exam chair. Maya moved slowly, cautiously, like someone who had learned to expect harm even in harmless places. Elena watched her carefully, noticing the tension in her shoulders, the way she clutched her coat as though letting go would leave her exposed. When Maya sat down, Elena adjusted the bright overhead light. Maya flinched. Not at the brightness, but at the vulnerability of having someone so close. "I can dim it if you like," Elena offered. "No, it's okay," Maya murmured, though her voice betrayed her. As Elena prepared the instruments, she felt an unexplainable warmth settling over her. It wasn't attraction, not yet, more the instinctive pull of compassion, the kind that comes when you recognize a soul quietly breaking in front of you. "I promise," Elena said softly, "you're safe. Nothing bad will happen here." For the first time, Maya looked at her, really looked. Her eyes were a storm of fear, exhaustion, and something else, something like hope. And in that moment, Elena knew this was no ordinary appointment. Something had brought Maya here, something deeper than pain. And something in Elena's heart responded with a feeling she couldn't name, a feeling no textbook had ever taught her how to treat. Elena slipped on her gloves with practiced calm, but her attention stayed fixed on Maya's trembling hands. They rested on her lap, fingers curling and uncurling restlessly, like she was trying to hold herself together piece by fragile piece. "All right," Elena said gently, "open your mouth for me when you're ready." Maya nodded, but hesitation flickered in her eyes. She inhaled sharply, as though preparing for something far worse than a dental examination. When she finally opened her mouth, Elena leaned in close, her movements slow and deliberate, giving Maya time to breathe. The tooth itself wasn't the problem. There was inflammation, yes, painful but treatable. But as Elena worked, she kept glancing at Maya's face. The way her forehead tensed. The way her throat tightened with every breath. The way tears threatened behind closed lashes, though no physical sensation should have caused that much distress. "Maya," Elena said quietly, lowering the mirror tool, "you're shaking. If something hurts, tell me." Maya swallowed hard. "I'm fine." It was the most universal lie Elena had ever heard. "Maya," she repeated, softer, "fine people don't sit like they're preparing for a disaster." Maya's eyes darted away. She blinked rapidly, trying to steady herself, but her facade cracked. Her breaths became shorter, quicker, tiny gasps caught between panic and the desperate need to stay composed. Elena stepped back, giving her space. "You're safe here," she reminded her again. "You don't have to pretend." That was all it took. Maya's shoulders slumped, and she pressed her fingers to her eyes. A small, broken sound escaped her. half sob, half apology. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to. She choked on the words, shaking her head helplessly. "I'm not good at being vulnerable in front of people." Elena pulled the stool closer, sitting beside her instead of standing over her. "You don't have to be good at it. You just have to be honest. And right now, your body is telling me you're scared of something that isn't your tooth." Maya's breath hitched again. Her lips trembled as she tried to speak, then stopped. Silence stretched between them, heavy but real. Finally, Maya whispered, "It's not someone hurting me." Elena waited, patient, calm, open. "It's life," Maya breathed, voice cracking. "Everything has been falling apart. I've been trying to hold it together, pretend I'm fine. But when I walked in here and you said I was safe, I felt it all crashing." Elena felt her heart tighten. Not with pity, but with empathy, deep, resonant, human. "You don't have to apologize for feeling overwhelmed," she said softly. "Pain isn't always physical. Sometimes the body reacts to what the heart has been carrying for too long." Maya wiped her cheeks, embarrassed. "You're a dentist. You shouldn't have to deal with this." Elena gave a gentle smile. "Maybe, but I'm also a human being. And right now, a human being is sitting in front of me hurting. That matters more than any job description." For the first time since entering the clinic, Maya exhaled a breath that sounded less like fear and more like relief, fragile, but real. And in that quiet moment, Elena understood. Sometimes the greatest wounds are invisible, and sometimes healing begins long before a single tool is lifted. When the procedure finished, Elena removed her gloves slowly, giving Maya time to sit up and gather herself. The rain outside had softened to a cold drizzle, and the clinic felt unusually quiet, like the world was waiting for whatever came next. Maya touched her cheek, feeling the numbness from the anesthesia, but Elena could see the ache in her eyes had nothing to do with dentistry. There was a heaviness there, years old, carved into her like a shadow. "Is everything okay?" Elena asked softly. Maya nodded, but the motion was too fast, too forced. Elena didn't press. She simply pulled the stool closer again and sat beside her, leaving a respectful space between them. "You don't have to talk," she said gently. "But if you want to, I'm here." Maya stared at her hands, twisting them together. For a long moment, she said nothing. Elena could see the war happening inside her, the urge to hide versus the human longing to be seen. Finally, Maya inhaled sharply, her voice trembling. "My parents." She paused, looking for the right words, then let out a defeated sigh. "They told me not to come back home." Elena's chest tightened. "Why?" Maya hesitated. Then, in a voice so small it felt like it could break, she whispered, "Because I told them I'm attracted to women." The words hung in the air, fragile, trembling, honest. Maya kept her gaze glued to the floor, as though expecting judgment, rejection, or disbelief. She braced herself for impact, shoulders tense, lips pressed together as if preparing for another wound. Elena didn't speak right away. Instead, she reached out slowly, placing her hand gently over Maya's, lightly enough for her to pull away if she wanted. Maya froze but didn't move. "I'm so sorry they reacted that way," Elena said softly. "You deserved love, not punishment." Maya let out a shaky breath, as if exhaling years of silence. "I kept telling myself I was strong enough. That I didn't need anyone. But today everything felt too heavy. I didn't know where else to go. I needed a place where I didn't feel wrong." "You are not wrong," Elena said firmly, her voice steady but warm. "You are not broken. You are not something to fix." Maya pressed her lips together, fighting tears. "I'm tired of feeling like a disappointment." Elena squeezed her hand gently. "The only disappointment here is how the people who should have protected you failed to do so." That did it. Maya broke. Tears slid down her cheeks. Quiet, defeated tears that carried years of isolation. She tried to speak, but only a choked breath came out. Instinctively, Elena scooted closer and wrapped her arms around her. Not tightly, but with the soft, careful embrace of someone offering shelter. Maya clung to her, trembling. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know how much it means to hear someone say that." Elena closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of Maya's trust settle over her. There was something powerful in the connection between them, something unexpected and undeniably human. "Maya," she murmured, "sometimes the people we lose make room for the people we truly need." Maya pulled back just enough to look at her, eyes red but hopeful. "And you think I'll find those people?" Elena smiled, brushing a strand of hair behind Maya's ear with gentle fingers. "I think," she said softly, "one of them found you today." After Maya's confession, the atmosphere in the clinic shifted, softened, as though the room itself understood the delicacy of the moment. Elena cleaned up the instruments quietly, giving Maya time to breathe. The clock on the wall ticked past closing hours, but Elena didn't care. For the first time in years, her work felt like more than a profession, it felt like a calling. Maya rubbed her eyes, still embarrassed by her tears. "I'm sorry you had to see me like this," she whispered. "You don't have to apologize for being human," Elena replied, her tone warm and reassuring. "Everyone breaks sometimes. What matters is who helps you put yourself back together." When Maya tried to stand, her knees wobbled. Elena instinctively caught her elbow. "Easy," she murmured. "You've been through a lot today." Maya let out a shaky laugh. "You mean emotionally or dentally?" "Both," Elena said with a smile that finally made Maya smile back. Just a little, but it was enough to light the room. Elena hesitated for a moment, then gently said, "Do you have someone to stay with tonight?" Maya stiffened. "No," she admitted. "I've been staying at a hostel, but it doesn't feel safe." The vulnerability in her voice was so raw Elena felt it like a physical ache. "Come home with me," Elena heard herself say before her mind caught up. "Just for tonight. I'll cook. You'll rest. No pressure. Just warmth and quiet." Maya blinked in surprise. "You'd do that for me?" Elena nodded slowly. "Yes. You deserve at least one night where the world isn't chasing you." For a moment, Maya looked like she might refuse, but then the exhaustion in her eyes softened into fragile acceptance. "Okay," she whispered. Elena's apartment was small but cozy, filled with soft lamplight, warm colors, and plants that she talked to when she thought no one was watching. Maya stepped inside cautiously, as though entering sacred ground. "It's beautiful," she murmured, hugging her arms around herself. "It's just home," Elena replied. "But I'm glad it feels safe to you." In the kitchen, Elena cooked pasta with garlic and herbs. Maya watched from the doorway, slowly relaxing, the tension draining from her shoulders. The simple sounds, the simmering pan, the gentle clink of utensils, felt like comfort. Normalcy, something she hadn't felt in months. "You do this every night?" Maya asked. "Only on the nights I'm not pretending cereal is a meal," Elena joked. Maya laughed, the sound soft but real. "Thank you," she said again, her voice trembling slightly. "No one has taken care of me like this in a long time." Elena turned toward her, leaning against the counter. "Everyone deserves to feel cared for. Especially you." A moment of quiet passed, intimate, unspoken. Maya's eyes glistened with something that wasn't just sadness anymore. Something warmer. When they finally sat down to eat, Maya picked up her fork, paused, then whispered, "You fixed more than my tooth today." Elena met her gaze gently. "Some feelings can't be treated," she said. "They can only be shared." And in that modest kitchen, over steaming plates and quiet gratitude, something tender began to grow, something fragile but unmistakably real. Weeks passed, and the world began to look different for Maya, brighter, softer, less threatening. What started as one night at Elena's apartment gradually became many. Not because Maya had nowhere else to go, but because Elena had opened a door she never asked her to walk through, yet Maya found herself returning again and again. Every visit felt like stepping into a place where the air was lighter and the weight on her chest eased. Elena never pushed, never questioned, never demanded Maya's story before she was ready to share it. Instead, she offered something far more powerful: quiet consistency. The clinic became their meeting ground. Maya would bring Elena pastries from the bakery next door, pretending it was a friendly gesture, though her cheeks always colored with a shy warmth. Elena, meanwhile, found herself lingering by the front desk whenever she knew Maya might stop by, her heart lifting at every soft knock on the door. One evening, after a long day at the clinic, Elena returned home to find Maya waiting on the apartment steps. She held a small bundle of wildflowers, slightly crooked, uneven in color, clearly picked by hand. "Elena," Maya said, standing awkwardly. These are for you. Elena blinked in surprise. For me? What's the occasion? Maya laughed nervously. I don't know. Gratitude. Admiration. Maybe I just wanted to see you smile. Elena took the flowers gently, touched beyond words. You do that even without flowers. Maya's cheeks flushed a deeper pink. Inside, Elena placed the flowers in a tall glass, giving them more ceremonial care than any bouquet she'd ever received. Maya watched, her eyes softening as the last rays of sunlight warmed the room. You know, Elena said, turning to her, I've noticed something. You're different lately, stronger, happier. Maya hesitated, then nodded. That's because of you. You made me believe I wasn't broken. You were never broken, Elena whispered. You were just bruised. Silence settled around them, warm, not heavy. Maya stepped closer. There's something I haven't told you, she murmured. Something I've been afraid to say. Elena's heart steadied itself. You can tell me anything. Maya took a breath, then looked up with eyes shimmering not with tears, but with hope. You healed me when I didn't believe healing was possible. And somewhere in the middle of all that, I fell in love with you. Elena froze, not in fear, but in astonishment. A slow, gentle smile grew on her lips as she reached out, brushing a strand of Maya's hair behind her ear just as she had weeks earlier in the clinic. Maya, she said softly, I think my heart knew long before my mind did. Maya's breath caught. Elena continued, her voice barely above a whisper. If love is a feeling that can't be treated, then I've been carrying it with me every time I looked at you. Maya stepped into her arms, fitting perfectly, as though the world had been quietly shaping them toward each other all along. And as the evening deepened around them, they held on to a single, simple truth. Sometimes life breaks you so the right hands can put you back together. Sometimes love arrives exactly when you stop expecting it. And sometimes, just sometimes, two hearts find each other in the most unexpected place. A small dental clinic on a rainy evening, where healing began with a whisper and grew into a future neither could have imagined.